Hello everyone. So in our previous video we discussed about how we can create, initialize an array, and we also discussed that how we can add or update elements inside an array. So in this video we will see the demonstration and working of the code which we discussed in our previous video. So here we have this class arrayUtil, and which has one utility method which prints the array on the console. So this method we will be discussing in our upcoming videos in great detail. So for time being, just think that this will print the contents of an array. So we have this method array_demo. So let's see the working of that code which we discussed in our previous video. So at the first step what we did was we created an integer array. We gave it a name as myArray. So we can provide any name. And let's say we provide a size as 5. So friends, here you can see that this will actually create an array which would be of integer type, and the values this array will hold will be the default values, and these default values will be decided based on the data type. And here you can see, let's say if we call array_demo method, so when this main method will run, this line will get executed and this array will be created with default values. So let's say if I call print array here and we pass myArray to it, so here this method will be called and the contents of this array will be printed. So if I run the main method now, so here you can see it printed 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So because we created an array of size 5, 5 times 0 was printed because this integer has default value of 0. So for each partition this array had, it stored the value 0 into it. So friends, in our previous video we also discussed that we have this myArray which will be acting as our remote control to modify the array object inside the memory. So what we can do is, let's say we want to add a value of 5 at index 0. So this would be the syntax. And similarly, let's say I fill all the values for each and every index, so 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And let's say I give a different value 5, 1, 8, 2 and 10. And if I call the print array method here after assigning these few values, and if I run the code now, you can see all the default values which were getting printed as 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 have been updated by 5, 1, 8, 2, 10. And let's say after assigning a value 8 at index 2, which is here, what we can do is, let's say I want to update this and I want to update it by 9. So I can do simply like this, and if I run the code now again, so you can see that only at index 2 the value was updated from 8 to 9. And also friend, let's say if we try to access an index which is not in range of this size, so let's say if we try to access an index which is not present inside the array, let's say 5, and if we give a value as, let's say 26, and if I run the code now, so friend, here you can see that we got an exception saying array index out of bounds exception, giving an index 5 saying that 5 is out of bounds for this array. So here if you see, when we do myArray, so the indexes starts from 0 and ends at size minus 1, which is 4. So here you can see that this array will go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the indexes which we are using it here to access a particular container so that we can store these values. So this array data structure inherently has this one variable by name length. So if we want to know that what is the length of any particular array, we can simply use this value myArray.length. So let's say if I print this on the console, and if I run the code now, so here you can see it printed the length of this array as 5 because we have created the integer array of length 5. So usually when we get an array and if we want to just know what is the length of that array, we can simply use this variable. We can give the variable name dot length and we'll get the length of that array. And similarly, let's say if we want to access the last element of an array, so what we can do is we can simply say my array, and here you can see the last index is actually length minus 1, which is 4. So here we need to give the value as my array dot length minus 1. So here my array dot length will give value as 5, and when we do minus 1 we can get the last index of this array. And in order to access that element, we need to provide the name of the array and then square brackets, and inside the square brackets we can provide the actual index for which we want to access a particular value. So if I run the code now, you can see that it printed 10 because 10 is the value held by the last index of this array. And also friends, similar to this, what we can do is we can also create an array something like this, where we actually know what this array could hold. So we can simply give the values as 5, 1, 8 and let's say 10. So this array will hold these values at the respective index starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. So the length of this array is 4 and the index goes from 0 to 3. So if I print this array now and if I run the code, you can see it printed 5, 1, 8, 10, which are the elements present inside this array. So friends, in this video we saw few operations related to an array, that how we can create an array and how we can add or update values inside this array. I hope you like this video. Thanks, have a nice day.